Hello YouTube and welcome back to Assetto Corsa and the final part of the Dream Pack 4 review. Today we're going to be looking at the Lamborghini Huracan SuperTrofeo and the Fiat 500 Abarth race car, which I believe is called the Assetto Corsa or something like that. So we're going to start with the Lamborghini because it's the faster car, and I just thought, you know, might as well just start with the nice fast Lamborghini. This is the Huracan, so it is the replacement for the Lamborghini Gallardo. But even though it looks like a GT3 car, it's not actually the GT3 car. This is sort of an entry series, or it's supposed to be an entry series to get drivers into the GT3 or the GT Championships. It comes with a 620 bhp engine at 8,250 RPM, so pretty high revving again, with 570 Newton meters of torque at 6,500 RPM. That comes both from a direct injection V10 5.2 litre, so that comes directly from the standard Huracan, but it looks like they've tweaked it and tuned it up a bit. I think this would make it probably an LP620 then. I can't remember how they used to have it, so it's LP, this should be an LP620-2 because it is a rear wheel drive, so that's quite interesting. It weighs 1,270 kilos, so it's somewhat heavier than the GT3 version of this car. But as you can see on the screen, outside anyway, it looks pretty much identical. So at first I thought, well, hang on, what's the difference between these two cars? They look identical, surely they've got to be identical, but there are some differences. There are definitely some differences, and this was developed with Dallara, and actually Dallara himself, who worked for Lamborghini decades ago, and actually worked on the first V12 flagship of theirs, the Miura. So this is a very, I would say, a very important car for Lamborghini. It sort of cements something that they've been doing for a very, very long time. And you might notice I've got a bit of a block nose, so I'm going to try my best to just continue as normal, but might sound a little bit odd, sorry. So, I thought this would be just like the GT3 car. It wasn't. First of all, the default tyres, the tyres that you start with, they're horrible, especially when it's cold. When they're cold, it was really, really difficult to drive. This is actually my second attempt at driving. I'd already done 5 laps before this. And just getting the tyres into their operating range was just really bad. It made it almost impossible to drive. You really couldn't put your foot down or anything on cold tyres. And when they're hot, they were okay. Once they got up to temperature, I'll say that the tyres were okay. It just took a long time to get up to that temperature, and then if you spin, they seem to be really, really sensitive, and the temperature would shoot through the roof, or at least something would happen. It felt like the tyres were blistering, and you just lost grip. You had no grip, and that's going to happen later on actually. I think lap 5 or something, I spin it, and then once lap 5 or something, I have a massive oversteer moment, and from there it's just downhill. There's just nothing I could do. It just changed the car completely. It didn't actually drive the way I wanted it to drive. This car is nowhere near as poised as the GT3 car. The GT3 car I drove immediately after this, and the GT3 car is just so much better than this car. This car is just wild, this car was rash and unrefined. It felt unrefined. The GT3 car felt a lot more, okay, you know, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, I've got tyres. I'll be honest, the biggest letdown on this car I think is the tyres. I think it's the tyres that have just ruined the car in many, many ways. It does bring a brand new meaning to the word snap oversteer though. You got to the limit and the car would just throw you out. It really would just throw you out. So something to be aware of. And being a Lamborghini, and a modern Lamborghini at that, it has that typical TIE fighter noise from Star Wars that I've come to expect from all those modern Lamborghinis. Though I must admit, it's not as well pronounced here. It was a lot quieter, which surprised me. I thought it'd be quite loud. Moving inside, I like the Bosch display. That display is very, very nice. I actually prefer that display over the display in the GT3 car. it's, I don't know, it's just, there's just something about that display that I really do like. The steering wheel, it's OMP steering wheel. You can see the actual sticker of OMP on there. It's a lot more simplified than the GT3 car, so that again shows that the car's simpler. And to be honest, I thought this car, because it's got more power than the GT3 car, yes, albeit it's a bit heavier than the GT3 car, I thought this car would be a little bit faster, but at least in my hands, this car is quite a lot slower. You can see my best laps are 132.263. I don't think I beat that lap at any point, because I think when I do get onto a fast lap I have that spin, and then like I said, from there it's just downhill. So I was a little bit surprised. I thought this car would be a bit faster, but it's not. I suppose being something that's got to lead up to GT3 or GT racing anyway, I suppose being slow is no bad thing. Modelling and texturing, fine work as usual from Kunos. There's nothing there to really knock. I do like the front vents. If you look at the front vents, well, the vents on the dashboard, I do like the way they're reflecting. I think that's pretty neat. And also the rest of the body seems to be made out of the same thing. Here we go. So I've had that oversteer. Now watch what happens. So coming up, past start finish straight, and here we go. Just as I was doing before, except this time the car's just gone. Now from this moment on, the car's completely changed. It's nothing like it was. So you're gonna see I'm gonna go around this corner. I seem to be okay around here. Seems to be oversteering a bit more. I was expecting, yeah, okay, I've overheated the tires a bit, they need to cool down. I seem to be understeering again here, like, okay, still need to cool it down. I'm sure they'll cool down the back straight. So here we go, we're going around this corner, still struggling with this understeer that wasn't there before. And now I'm coming down the back straight. Now I thought, well, not the back straight, but one of the straights. Thought, okay, now the car should be cooled down enough. I should be able to continue just like normal. So here we go. End up on the grass, and then that's it. It just spit me out. So that was that. I don't know what happened, and this isn't the first time. I mean, I tried this a few times off camera. I tried it a few times, you know, similar kind of thing. Drove the car, then I spun the car, then I tried driving after that, and the same thing happened. The car just started acting in a very, very strange way, and I have no explanation. I really have no explanation why. So that's that. Back to the texturing. I really like, if you look in the replay box, the red accents on the edge of the front splitter, on the winglets and the rear wing and the side skirts. That little red accent there, I really, really like that. I think that's a very nice touch to the texturing. And like I said, Kunos always do a really good job there. Physics wise, the car's alright. It's nothing too special. Like I said, I prefer the GT car far more, but I think the tyres have a lot to do with it. So you can see here, I'm still not going to be getting much of a lap, because the car's still struggling. You can see that the car is still struggling. But that's about it. I don't think I came across any general problems with the car. I'm just thinking. There was a slight issue with the level of detail model. As it started going away, it just did something slightly odd, but you only got to notice that in the replays. And to be honest, if you're looking at the replays and you're going to take a photo, you're not going to be able to notice it because it's a photo. So there was a little bit of oddities with the level of detail model, but apart from that, the car was generally fine. Just not a car I liked. Like I said, tyres is what I think let the car down. I'm going to give the car 7.5 out of 10. So, you know, I think it's a well-modeled car. It's well textured, and it sounds pretty good. Let's not mess about there. It does sound pretty good, but it's just not fun to drive, especially compared to the GT3 car. I found the GT3 car boring, but at least you could drive it. This car was a lot harder. Of all the Lamborghinis in this pack, I like the Gallardo the most. So this one, 7.5 out of 10. And we're coming up to the end of the lap here. There you go, you can see still not driving the way I wanted to drive. And yeah, 1:32.263 was the fastest one I've got. So I'm going to switch over to the Fiat 500 Abarth, which is definitely not going to be as fast. Right, so here we are with the Fiat 500 Abarth, and the first thing you'll notice, doesn't look like a supercar. Doesn't look like a supercar at all. Second thing you'll notice, over-revving it like mad. But after coming out of that Lamborghini, kind of was bound to happen. So here we go. This is an entry-level car for racing series, which I think is absolutely fantastic to have. And this is honestly a little pocket rocket. It's really, really nice. I didn't think I'd like this car, but I really did. At the end of it, I thought, wow, of all the cars in the Dream Pack that I thought I wouldn't like, this is the one. And I ended up liking it. So it's got 195 bhp coming from a 16 valve 1.4 litre inline 4 turbocharged engine, just like normal Abarth. And it's got 302 newton meters of torque, and for a car that only weighs 930 kilos, that means that it can go 0 to 60 in under 7 seconds, and it can get propelled up to a maximum speed of 140 miles an hour. Not bad at all. Of course, the normal Abarth, I think, was 7.5 seconds, 7.6 seconds. You can get 0 to 60, so they've shaved 0.6 of a second off. But of course, in race trim, it's going to be faster around the corners. New suspension, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's got a bit more power, more torque. It's just going to be better. But of course, the acceleration does matter, especially off the line. But 7 seconds, come on. You're not going to complain at 7 seconds. That's sports car territory, proper sports car territory. It is a front wheel drive though, so you are going to get the characteristic front wheel drive understeer. I get that quite a few times, but you can see that the car's been stripped back as much as possible. You've got roll cages in it, and they've removed things, and you've got this start button. You can see that start button there. It's still got the hazard lights button, so I suppose you can use that in a race if you break down, I suppose. Or this car can be taken out on the real road, and I doubt that. I don't know. Actually, it should be road legal. I don't know. Would a car like this be road legal? It seems to have everything. I suppose it would be road legal. But if you think about it, there was that Lamborghini Huracan Trophy R250 or whatever it was. 250R, I can't remember. Can't remember what it was called. Yeah, that was road legal, and that had a racing harness and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, this should probably be road legal. But like I said, really, really enjoyable car to drive. It's quite low revving, and that did catch me out a lot over the first couple of laps. You can see I'm on lap 2. I'm still going to get caught out with it a few times. Kind of wish that the rev range was up a bit. Maybe, I don't know, another 500 to 1000 RPM. I think that would have been really, really nice, especially second and third gear in this car. I think you really didn't need that. First gear is a bit useless in this car, so I suppose it's just literally for moving off. But second and third gear you do use, and I think it could probably do with that little bit of extra revs, just so that you can get that get the power and not constantly be bouncing off the limiter, because obviously, as you know, that's damaging to the engine. Naturally understeer, I didn't mention that because of the drivetrain configuration, but if you trail brake right, then you've got the perfect amount of oversteer into a corner, and I did get that towards the end. I started getting more into it, and you'll see me trail braking a bit, and I have a fantastic corner here in a couple of laps where I trail brake into the corner, and it's just absolutely perfect. So that's something. Suspension is kind of stiff, so if you get onto uneven camber, you're gonna run into a problem. Now there is an uneven camber coming up, I'll show you in a moment. So this is an off camber corner coming up here for some reason, at least on the inside. So on the inside of this corner, it's quite off camber. Now watch what happens here. You immediately just get thrown out, and you get thrown out with stiff suspension. That's going to happen. So you just need to be a little bit careful about that. Tires felt good. They're not too grippy, but they're not limiting you on your drive like the Lamborghini was. I found the Lamborghini was very limiting on what we had to do with the drive. This one's not limiting. Sure, if you're gonna push it, it's going to be like, okay, no, I'm not having this. You know, this is stupid. But if you want to push it a little bit, you want to work towards the edge of the, you know, towards the limits of the actual car, the physical car, the chassis and everything, the tires will let you do that. And I like that. I like it when tires allow you to get to the limits of the car rather than the limits of the tire. I think it just works better. So yeah, very happy with the tires there. The car felt very natural to drive. Now that might be because, you know, we're used to driving front wheel drive cars. Yeah, everyone's first car generally happens to be front wheel drive, or tends to be a front wheel drive car. Maybe that's why it feels sort of natural to drive, but it did feel very, very natural to drive. It felt right. It felt like it was doing, you know, a good job. This isn't the one. Over here I touched the grass, but I think it's on the next lap. What I do wish would disappear, and you're going to see it in a bit. See that shift up indicator that keeps flashing? I wish that wasn't there. It's so annoying. I mean, yeah, okay, I understand that this car, as a Fiat 500, it should have all these little features on it. It's a small car. It's for people who just, maybe it's for people who are just starting out driving. But this is a race version. You don't need a light saying shift up, shift up, shift up. What they should have replaced it with is the LEDs. That's really what they should have replaced it with. Also, I noticed if you have a look at the little plaque on the dashboard, it says limited edition 0 of 49. 0 of 49 special edition? I've never known a car to have a 00 on it. Visually, the car's very nice. It's got lots of additional bits and bobs you can see in the replays on the outside. It's even got that tape over the tape of the lights, so it does look like a race car. On top of this normal Fiat 500 body, it does look a little bit out of place. I'll admit that. Compared to the rest of the Dream Pack, I mean, you had that Escort, which is a clear race car. You had the Lamborghinis, clear race cars. The Formula 1 cars, clear race cars. Then you have this little plucky little Fiat 500, and it does look a little bit out of place with the rest of the Dream Pack. But I tell you something, I'm glad it's in the Dream Pack, because it's fun. Sounds not amazing, fairly decent, but not amazing. I would have expected a bit more raw noise. Here we go, look at that. Just go into there, slight amount of oversteer, just continue along your way. It was just so nice to take it into that corner like that. But yeah, like I was saying, sounds. I was expecting maybe a little bit more raw noise from the exhaust. It sounds a little bit more, or it's a little bit too muffled. But you know, that seems to be something that's going on with all of Kunos's cars, and they've changed up a few, so they sound a little bit louder and a little bit more growl, but they tend to be muffled, and it seems to be something you see in a lot of games anyway. They tend to muffle out a lot of the exhaust sounds, and I don't know why. Maybe it's the way they record it. I really don't know. What would I give this car? I'm actually going to give this car a 9 out of 10. I thought I wouldn't like it. It's not fast. It's the slowest car in the pack, easily. It's possibly something... It doesn't really have much competition, I don't think, in Assetto Corsa right now. But it's a blast to drive. It's really, really, really fun. I really enjoyed driving it. I thought, wow, you know, that was unexpected. So coming up to the end of the lap here, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments box below. Now that we've finished all of these, I want to know what each and every one of you thinks of their favourite car in the Dream Pack and their worst car in the Dream Pack, and why. So leave that in the comments box below, because I'd like to have, I'd like to know your guys' views on that. Next week we return back to mods, so look forward to that. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to our channel for more videos on Assetto Corsa, and leave a comment in the comments box below like I said. I hope to see you guys next week.